What is up, boys? Back again with another video for y'all, and today we are back in the lab. Let's get it. Let's get straight into the video. It's 30 degrees, bro. It's so cold, but let's get straight into it, boys. Feeling pumped up today. Basically, today's video is titled "Every Test is a Blessing in Disguise." So the reason why I wanted to record this video, is because I was walking about my day and looking back at my life, right? Well, it's so cool, freaking thing. But I was looking back at my life, basically, and then I was saying to myself, like, I was driving home in my car, and I was like saying that all the past tribulations and past trials that I've had in the past, it made me who I am today. And I didn't realize that it was a blessing in disguise, you know. Though at this time, there was this girl I was talking to, and she ended off things with me, and basically that's when I decided to lock in and start my self-improvement journey, and wanted to started to do things for me to improve, basically, right? Like, every test is a blessing in disguise, right? Let's just say that you're ugly, for example, right? You could say what is called, every person is a beauty. Every person has a beauty of their own, in their own way, or everybody's beautiful in their own ways, basically, right? But basically, let's be completely honest, right? Without no BS, let's put the BS to the side. There's some people who are just born unattractive, right? There's some people who are born unattractive, and a person I'm gonna be using an example for this is Yusuf alayhi salam, right? Peace be upon him. He was so good looking. Imagine if you were on the other end of the spectrum. Let's just say that you're very ugly. This is to help the people who are very ugly, or not good looking, unattractive. And basically, I thought of this. I had this mindset, look at Yusuf alayhi salam, right? Yusuf, Prophet Joseph, peace be upon him, right? He was very beautiful. He was one of the most, if not the most beautiful man in the whole entire world, right? God said that he gave Joseph, peace be upon him, the beauty of half of the world. That's crazy, bro. Half of the world is crazy. But basically, he gave him half of the world. That's how beautiful he was. And then basically they took him, and then he was so beautiful, he was so good looking, that the woman was cutting the apples. They didn't realize they were all cutting their hands, because they were all in shock, this must be an angel, right? He was so good looking. And then there was this girl giving him a hard time, trying to seduce him. And basically there was a lot of people who was trying to take advantage of him just because he was beautiful. All of us wish we had that problem of where, girls are on you, they want to talk to you because you're so beautiful, you're so good looking, and we all want that. But basically, we must remember, right? We must instill into our mind that God is all-knowing. Because if we remember that God is all-knowing, if he gave you a certain test, if a person has a different test, right, in life, so be it, because God knows you for who you are. He knows who you are, because we all have different tests specialized for us. There's some people who are born with homosexual tendencies. His test may be his homosexual tendencies, but your own may be pornography, your own may be masturbation. Whatever it may be for you, you must understand that every test is a blessing in disguise. Imagine if I wasn't given a PMO addiction. I would have not known about it, right? But now, I overcame it, and now I'm able to help other people who struggle with it. For people who want to quit it, I could help them out because I've understand it. And if I wasn't given anxiety, right, social anxiety or mental health issues, I wouldn't have the knowledge I have to help someone if I encounter someone, someone who has a problem or a mental breakdown or anxiety. I have the ability to help them, because every test is a blessing in disguise. Now, I've gone over the test portion of this. Now I really want to move over to a different kind of section. It's where you visualize this, right? Basically, so basically, let's just imagine two people, right? There's one guy, he's handsome, he's attractive, you know, he was born with a, you know, that lean TikTok boy physique. He was good with beautiful hair, no pimples, no acne. He looks so beautiful, you know, he looks like your average TikTok boy. He looks good, and he has like a high Snapchat score. He's getting a lot of girls, right? Versus a masculine man who, you know, is religious, who is driven, who's purpose driven, who has a mission in life, who's, you know, a great fighter, a great athlete, who's smart, knowledgeable, and he sticks to his values, right? And basically, the other person chases hedonism, and basically hedonism is just basically pleasure, like no religion, no nothing, but just basically following his desires. So if he follows his desires, you know, he F's as many girls as possible. He grows old, and he realizes that not having a family was a very, very bad idea. Versus the person who was very religious, who was very devout, mission purposed, achieved his goals, achieved what he wanted to achieve, and he settled down, and he got a beautiful, pious wife. And if you don't know what pious is, it's basically a woman who's like religious, basically. And they have a child, they grow up, they are devout as well, and they live happily. Now, you know, if you truly, you know, like put everything to the side, you will choose the second guy. You would want to be the second guy. And the reason is because this modern day makes you believe that you should be the hedonistic person, the hedonistic chasing person who chases casual sex, who chases, you know, the next dopamine high, the person who chases girls. It's not worth it. It really is not worth it. The only way to true fulfillment is through being, one, disciplined, and number two, being devoted with God. You know, people have this thing, I think it's called stigma, whatever it may be called, but basically they'll have this thought inside of their mindset that if they don't date, if they don't do these certain things, they're gonna be kicked out of the, you know, the wolf pack or society. But let me tell you, these times, or the times when I'm alone, right? These times when I'm alone, just grinding, just working, doing my thing, right? Getting things done that I should be getting done. These times are more fulfilling to me as a man than the times I spent when I was down bad for a girl, texting her all night. Because if you look at me, I was laying down on my phone texting with a smile. You know, I may have a smile, but we must remember, boys, that us men, we get fulfilled through getting things done, right? You know, we can settle down, get a wife one day, but when we're still young, when we must be able to, you know, just escape the hedonistic pleasures of the world and just focus on crafting the man that we want to become. And yeah, so basically, back to the topic of the video, every test is a blessing in disguise. So if you weren't born with that guy, if you weren't born as that guy who's handsome, who's good looking, you can still craft yourself to become a man who is wanted, who loves himself. You know, there's people who are black pill who say that, oh, I used to be black pill too, you know. I used to think that I was short. I had bad genetics. I was ugly. I was black pilled. I used to think that, oh, I'll never become this guy who's born with everything that he needs, right? And God gave me harsh genetics, right? He gave me short genetics. He gave me his low metabolism compared to my brother. You know, I had a lot of acne. and I didn't really have the best childhood, you know. But basically, the gift, the blessing that was given to me by God was perseverance. I have the ability to see any perspective in life. No matter how hard, no matter how harsh, I'm able to push forward. Alhamdulillah. That's what I was blessed with, perseverance. You know, this may sound cliche, this might sound cringe to you guys, but if you really look into it, every single thing that you went through in your life, I trust you. If you just trust in God and you just have faith and have perseverance, you will realize that test that you're currently going through is a blessing in disguise. You know, a more recent thing for me is my grades, basically. Like, you know, my grades went down and I used to have good grades, and I'm like looking at myself like, I really like fell off, bro. I need to like hop back on the grind, bro. I need to hop back on that horse that I was on when I first started self-improvement, you know, and hop back in that grind, you know. Been slacking, you know, wasting time, you know, doing more of the bad habits, and basically, you know, doing less of the good habits that I should be doing, right? Instead of reading a book, I'll go to Instagram. And basically, these grades were more, it's not as so like seeing the grades like, oh, my grades are bad, you're a nerd. Not like that. When I saw these grades, because I used to be so driven, so mindful of the task at hand, so present at everything I was doing, and I realized and reflected towards myself that I was falling off. By falling off, I mean falling off the horse of the grind, you know what I mean? But basically, it made me reflect back on my sophomore year, bro. I was working 24 hours. I was working 24 hours each week. I was getting straight A's. I was training. I was on OMAD, 1 meal a day, and I was training hard, relentless. You know, sheer willpower. I was recording videos. I was reading books. I was socializing with people in school. My life was going great. And then when I look back at my grades, it was a reflection towards me. These bad grades reflected, right? And I told myself, like, maybe God gave these, like, you know, for the longest time, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I've been coping with, like, these grades are bad. You know, every successful person had bad grades, and I was coping with it. But suddenly I had a, you know, I click inside of my mind. I looked at my grade and like, why did God give me this test? God gave the test of Abraham to kill his son. So why did God give me this? You know, I know those two analogies are crazy, but basically, yeah, I just like, that was my mindset. And basically I was like saying to myself, like, why did he give me this test? And then it snapped inside of my head. And I realized that he gave me this test to have a reflection in my life, to realize that I'm gonna die one day. You know, this is probably an over-analysis of a lot, but, you know, I'm a very over-analytic person. But basically, yeah, I analyzed it and I said, like, he's trying to tell me, bro, that I'm gonna die one day. You know, I'm gonna die one day, and I need to reflect back on my life. And then these grades are a reflection of how mindful I am in class, how mindful I am in the world, how present I am, how driven I am. And then I kickstarted back into it, right? I started getting more back into the good habits, gradually getting back up there, reducing less of the bad habits. Slowly and slowly I'm getting back to it, batting back on the horse, to get back at full speed, just like I was back in my sophomore year. It's probably a reflection of God trying to tell me that, bro, you're a senior, bro. You are going to graduate soon. You're gonna be a firefighter soon, you know, because I want to be a firefighter, inshallah. But, you know, I'm gonna be a firefighter. I'm gonna have a wife. I'm gonna have some kids. You need to reflect back in your life, because these grades are more than just grades. It's a reflection of your mindfulness, your drivenness, and basically your ability to adapt, your ability to learn, your ability to do things that you don't want to do. and again, restate my thesis statement. Like, this is a freaking essay, bro. Get out of here with that English. But basically, yeah. You know, boys, we must get ready, boys. And that's enough for me. And again, my thesis statement, or restating my thesis statement, basically every test is a blessing in disguise. It's enough for me. Improve your life and be the best possible man you can be. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.